There were many poets in Victorian age, like Alfred Lord Tennyson, Robert Browning, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Rudyard Kipling, Francis Thompson, Christina Rossetti, Lionel Johnson. But the most prominent poet of Victorian age was Tennyson. Although romantic in subject matter, his poetry was tempered by personal melancholy. There is mixture of social certitude, religious doubt that reflected the age. The poetry of Robert Browning and his wife Elizabeth Barrett Browning was immensely popular. Though Elizabeth, her poetry was more respected during their lifetimes. Robert Browning is best remembered for his superb dramatic monologues. Rudyard Kipling was the poet of the empire triumphant, who captured the quality of the life of the soldiers of British expansion. Some fine religious poetry was produced by Francis Thompson, Alice Meynell, Christina Rossetti, and Lionel Johnson. In the middle of the 19th century, the so-called Pre-Raphaelites, the Pre-Raphaelites group, led by the painter-poet Dante Gabriel Rossetti, they tried to revive what they judged to be simple, natural values and techniques of medieval life and art. Their their quest for a rich symbolic art led them away, however, from the mainstream. William Morris, who was designer, inventor, printer, poet, and social philosopher, was the most versatile of this group, this group included the poets Christina Rossetti and Pat Moore. Charles Swinburne began as a Pre-Raphaelite but soon developed his own classically influenced florid style. A.E. Housman and Thomas Hardy, the great Victorian figures who lived on into the 20th century, they share a pessimistic view in their poetry also, but Housman's poetry is rather more superficial. The great innovator among the late Victorian poets was G.M. Hopkins. The concentration and originality of his imagery, as well as the jolting meter that is known as sprung rhythm, S-P-R-U-N-G, sprung rhythm, it had a profound influence on 20th century poetry. When Queen Victoria came to the throne of England in 1837, English literature seemed to have entered into a period of a very lean years. Only sweet memories, poetic fruitfulness of the romantic poets were remained, while the poets had passed away. It seemed at that time that no writer was there in England to take their place. But later on, we see that Alfred Tennyson and Robert Browning, they try to fulfill that emptiness in the literature. Tennyson stood as the summit of poetry in England. For nearly half a century, he was not only a man, a poet, but the voice of all people, expressing their doubt and faith, grief and triumphs. In his poetry, we find dreaminess of Spenser, majesty of Milton, the natural simplicity of Wordsworth, the fantasy of Blake and Coleridge, the melody of Keats and Shelley, narrative vigor, energy of Byron. Only the dramatic power of the Elizabethan age was lacking. In Ulysses, he has taken the subject of hunger heart for the adventurous life. I quote, "And this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star." Some of his poems, like Locksley Hall in 1842, is full of the restless spirit of young England and of its faith in science, commerce, and the progress of mankind. His poem Maud, M-A-U-D, Maud, deals with the patriotic passion of the time of the Crimean War and reflects the Mammon worship of the day. Idylls of the King, IDYLLS, it deals with medieval chivalry. His other poems that has poems like the Lady of Shalott, Break, Break, Break. They talk mysterious. They talk about mysterious characters as well as a dream-like vision, a presentation of a fairy tale-like presentation. However, this poet Tennyson is mainly known for his poem In Memoriam. It is the collection of 131 poems. It deals with the great conflict of the age between doubt and faith. This poem is an elegy because it laments on the death of his closest friend Arthur Henry Hallam. In 1850, Tennyson became poet laureate to succeed Wordsworth. His often quoted line is from Ulysses: "To strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield." Robert Browning was the lover of music. His famous poems are My Last Duchess, The Last Ride Together, Ravi Ben Ezra, and many more. He was the poet who perfected the dramatic monologue. He was an undying optimist who said God is in his heaven, all is right with the world. Matthew Arnold is a poet cum critic. His famous poems are Rugby Chapel, RUGBY, Rugby Chapel, CHAPEL, Thyrsis, THYRSIS, Scholar Gypsy, Dover Beach, Sohrab and Rustam. In one of his poems entitled Thyrsis, he mourns the death of his friend Arthur Clough. Rugby Chapel is also an elegy in which he mourns the death of his father. However, Arnold is mainly famous for his essay critical works like Culture and Anarchy, Literature and Dogma. Another poet, Arthur Hugh Clough, who is famous for his poem The City of Dreadful Night, which deals with the note of insomnia and nightmarish pessimism. And he was the one who believed that the appearance of progress was a mere illusion. Edward Fitzgerald, FITZGERALD. He is mainly famous for his verse translation of the Persian Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. His pessimism was inherent in his acceptance of the life's purposelessness. His pessimism was the cause of his Epicureanism. Wine, women, music were the chief objects of his pleasure in the life. There is this movement, the Pre-Raphaelite poets movement. It began in 1848 by three painters in England, including Dante Gabriel Rossetti. This movement aimed at a return to older principles in painting, but as Rossetti and other followers like William Morris and Swinburne were also gifted writers, they aimed to bring about a change in literary manner as well. Many of the themes and meanings of Victorian poetry reflect a conflicted sense of self. At once, many poems by Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett Browning portray a desire for the ideals of the Romantic period in literature, but they are strained, it seems, by the unique period and its new use of language, the changing and ever-growing economy in the bustling city of London, and of course the changing views of religion and its place in such a complex world. Through the poems from the Victorian age of both Robert and Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Matthew Arnold, the repeated themes of shifting religious ideas, language usage, and the economy are clear. This poem by Browning, Fra Lippo Lippi, we see a critique. The main theme concerns art, the strict sense in which the church views artistic pursuits and products. That is quite similar to the way it requires priests to live celibate lives. While the church's main argument is that art should be presented as something higher than the base representation of the human form. This denies the essential humanity of the subject, that is the God's people. The poetry of Victorian age, it has sometimes it has religious criticism, because there is a yearning, a desire for the old days of religious order. So people were losing their faith, and it is depicted, it is portrayed in the poetry as well. So then there are writers who were talking about the return to the age where people were so full of faith. Victorian poetry is sometimes viewed by the critics when they see Tennyson's poetry as full of ornate style. Victorian poetry asks to be read with the ear. Its rhythm